Hey guys, I am going to show you what it looks like after you submit your payment and your paperwork. So that stuff is not part of an automated system. It goes to me and I look at it as soon as I can, and then I set up your calendar invitation. So if there's a delay, don't be surprised. The delays are most typically going to be from Saturday to Monday because I don't check emails on Sunday. Occasionally something else will happen. I'm in the middle of sessions all day. I have family events, so you may have a short delay, but you should never have to wait very long. If you don't see something come through, first check your spam folder just in case, your junk folder. And if you still don't see anything, let us know. I would give it 24 hours to 48 hours max and then get in touch. So when it comes through, it will come from me or it will come from Lori. It will say invitation, and then it will have information about that particular session. So in my sample here, I put intake call for Tansy Leary for Puppy 101. It might also say intake call Tansy Leary BMOD, behavior modification, or Mind Your Manners, or MYM as a shortcut. It will basically talk about the name of your package and your name. Once you have a training session set up, it will have typically your dog's name. So Scout Leary, 1 of 5. So it would let you know how many sessions are in your package and which session this one is. If I click on it, I can see more details and I can see an option to Rsvp. We really appreciate it if you can click yes so we know you've received your invitation. You can, if you have Google Calendar, you can click to have it show up there. It's a nice feature for those Gmail users out there, and it'll tell you your date and your time. This is important because sometimes people set up multiple sessions at once, and then they get confused about which session to enter. It'll be, Wednesday, but they'll click through Friday's session call. So they'll be in a room where there's no trainer thinking that we forgot about them. And meanwhile, we're in their training room for that day thinking they forgot about us. So always check your date and time. As you go down a little bit further, it'll have some more detail. Joining info is how you're going to join, and we're going to do that in a second. There's an option to join by phone, but that means we can't see you, you can't see us, so that's not a great option. We'd rather just do a phone call if we're doing an intake call that way. It says who's invited. We can certainly invite other people in your family, just let us know. And sometimes people have an option to do that themselves. It just depends on the invitation. Keep scrolling once you get these because there may be some setup notes for you. In your initial intake call, you usually don't see these. You see the initial email you sent us. So that's a reminder of information for your trainer of what you had specified, although we have reviewed it before we start your call. Your setup notes, though, are fairly important because this is what you're going to do for your training session. And so read those somewhat carefully, and if anything seems like a concern, please let us know in advance, okay? A note on the Rsvp, if you have a problem that day and you can't go, clicking no does not mean your session does not exist. It actually makes it harder for us to reschedule it. If you simply send us a message, we can then move the whole event without recreating a new one. So please don't click no, just get in touch with us, okay? All right, so let's say it's time for my meeting. I'm going to keep this email. I'm not going to delete it, and I could, just keep it in my inbox or save it in a training folder. But now it's time for my meeting. I'm going to just click here. That works if you have a laptop. If you don't have a laptop, there I am, hi, then you're using a phone or a tablet, and you're going to have to download the Meet app, M-E-E-T. All right, once you download the Meet app, then you'll be able to join. So when I go in, of course, it's my account, so I can just join now. Many of you will have some other button or some other option that asks you to request to join so that we can admit you to the room. Not everyone gets that. I'm not totally clear on why, but it is what happens about half the time. So you may have to request to be admitted. We're usually not late, maybe a minute or two here and there. I think 5 is the longest I've ever been late, and it was sort of an extraordinary circumstance. So if you don't see us within a minute or two of your meeting time, please send a text, and our phone numbers are usually in the signatures of our emails, so you should be able to find those pretty quickly. And if you can't find Lori's, you can always text me. My number is also on the website. dogcrazylady.com. So now I'm ready to join. I click join, and when you click join, this is what you'll see. You'll actually see me because I'll be here waiting for you. If you get there early, you may have the wait for admission button, or you may just see yourself. If you want to see what your room setup looks like, you can go ahead and click the little icon at the top right that looks like people. And if you do that, it'll set up a drop down, and it'll have you in there with a picture of yourself, and it also have the other person. So let's say I had a second person here, I could go ahead and click on their picture and it would pop up their screen so that I could see their view. Basically, you can see what I see. Let's say I was the person getting trained. This would be much too high. No one's going to be able to see my puppy down on the floor. So I would be requested to tilt my screen forward until we could see the floor, right? And I'd have to get the chair out of the way. But you want to make sure to check out your room, see how well lighted it is, see if we can see you, make sure you have some room to move around. All right. Last note on that, we do want to see you indoors unless we have specifically requested you go outdoors. Sometimes people just go outside, I guess because they have more room or it's a nice day, but it's very, very hard for dogs and puppies to learn new skills in distracting environments. So we really do not want to work outside. Also, your Wi-Fi is usually terrible outside, so you keep freezing, and the wind is blowing, so we can't hear you. So please don't do that without talking to us first. If you ever see us get frozen and we don't seem to hear you saying, hey, you're frozen, try using the chat box that should be on your right. You can just send, you are frozen message, and hopefully we'll get it. If it's completely not working, you can always find the X out button and remove yourself and join again, and that will definitely send us the message that you weren't able to see us. But hopefully you won't have any of those tech difficulties. Most people have no trouble at all. We do have a few people with terrible signal, and we need them to get off their Wi-Fi and on a phone to use data. But most of the time it's no big deal. So I hope that was helpful in showing you how to set everything up, and we look forward to seeing you in your training session really soon. Thanks, guys.